persistent sexual arousal syndrome. It sounds like a joke or a good thing, but it's a real medical problem. It's only recently been recognized. Victims say it's not only embarrassing, some of their doctors made fun of their condition. But it's no joke. Talking about this may make some of you uncomfortable, but as Dr. Tim Johnson says, it may also help women who suffer in silence.
Witnesses saw seizure activity.
I really don't even think I need to be here.
You should really let us determine that, man.
Witnesses said she was screaming.
It seemed like a medical disorder only Hollywood could dream of. Frequent, unwanted sexual sensations.
Oh no. Oh God, it's happening again. Oh no.
At first, the doctors on Grey's Anatomy assumed the writhing young woman in the emergency room was having seizures. Until it became clear she wasn't.
Was that a...
Did she just have an
Orgasm.
They smirked and giggled. There was even a touch of envy as the interns gaped at their patients.
Dang it.
It's not exactly something you want to cure, is it?
Dr. O'Malley?
Sorry.
As bizarre as it seems, the storyline is based on a real, though rare, disorder called persistent sexual arousal syndrome, or PSAS. And for the real women who suffer from it, it's anything but a joke.
I was desperate. I was absolutely desperate.
Get him, Heather! Get him, Heather!
10 years ago, Heather Dearman had just gotten married and was pregnant with her son when symptoms of PSAS mysteriously appeared.
I woke up one morning and just felt these strange sensations.
So they just literally came out of the blue.
Yeah.
Heather says though she had no sexual desire, she had to bring on an orgasm to get any relief from the constant pressure. But the relief didn't last.
The sensations grew stronger, and it would take me longer and longer to be able to achieve orgasm.
And that would only provide very temporary relief?
Very temporary.
Like hours?
Yeah, hours. So it got to the point where I was having it in the morning. I would make it go away for an hour or so. It would come back. I would have to masturbate again, and I would actually be crying while I was masturbating, and there was no pleasure in it at all.
Frantic, she says she went through 10 doctors and therapists, but no one helped, even after she became suicidal and landed in a psychiatric hospital.
The doctor there, the psychiatrist there, suggested that I was sexually suppressed and maybe I should try lesbianism. And then the nurse there got very upset with me, and she said, "Oh, well, I wish I could stay home and masturbate every day like you."
The first study on PSAS was published only 5 years ago. It described, quote, persistent sexual arousal in the absence of sexual desire, feelings that are intrusive and unwanted. Since then, roughly 400 women have been diagnosed with the syndrome.
There is absolutely no sexual desire associated with the feelings in these patients' genitals.
The fluid that accumulates...
Dr. Susan Kellogg is director of sexual medicine at the Pelvic and Sexual Health Institute of Philadelphia. She says women with PSAS report terrible physical and emotional distress.
Women have told me that it inferred that they were in some way less than honorable, and in fact, it couldn't be further from the truth. These are lovely women, usually in stable, monogamous relationships, and they are not hypersexual at all.
I was embarrassed. I felt shame.
Nancy Brown, a grandmother and retired nurse, had been married to her high school sweetheart, Glenn, for 35 years, when her symptoms changed both of their lives.
It made me feel real sexually inferior because I didn't think I was performing like I should, and that's why she was having the problem.
Nancy quit going out of the house, leaving Glenn to handle all the shopping and household chores.
It was so intense. I couldn't concentrate on anything else.
Driven into a deep depression, Nancy says she even drafted a suicide note to her beloved husband.
I told him that he didn't deserve to live this way, and I couldn't go on with it anymore.
Nancy has tried just about everything possible to treat her PSAS, including some very drastic measures.
Approximately 18 months ago, I underwent nerve decompression surgery. I even went through ECTs, electroconvulsive therapy.
In all, Nancy received 42 electric shock treatments and suffered severe memory loss as a side effect. Her PSAS is still not cured.
It's livable. I can do things and not constantly feel it. But it's there 24 hours a day. It never goes away from me.
The causes of PSAS are uncertain and different for every woman. Treatment remains just as elusive. Lisa Martinez, founder of the Women's Sexual Health Foundation, says doctors simply don't know about these kinds of female sexual disorders.
Typically, they're totally unaware of it, whether it's PSAS or some of the other GYN pain conditions.
Do you have a sense that at least among OB/GYNs in current training there's more emphasis than there used to be?
No, I really don't at this point.
The current training of the specialists is still minimal. How can it not be a part of their training?
That's a good question. I'd love to have the answer to that myself.
My own gynecologist, who was a male, who smiled and told me I was every man's dream. And I was mortified.
Jeannie Allen says she felt so embarrassed by her constant sexual arousal that it destroyed her marriage.
When you don't know what's wrong, how are you going to explain it to your partner? So I didn't tell him. I took a soulmate that I had everything in common with, that we did everything together, and just told him I wasn't happy anymore, that I wanted a divorce.
When Jeannie finally found out what was wrong, she started a support group on the internet. Heather Dearman's husband read about the group by chance in a newspaper.
It was a good day. You know, I was crying as I was reading their testimonies. You know, some of them had the exact same story as me.
Heather says she found moderate relief with the popular antidepressant Paxil. She is no longer a slave to her condition.
If the sensations were from 1 to 10, and 10 being the highest, it kind of stops it at 7. So it's not where I'm completely losing my mind.
Jeannie's best hope, she says, is to bring attention to PSAS so that a cure for her misery might soon be found. In the meantime, she has a message for doctors who may still be in the dark.
We want our doctors to know we're not crazy, that it does exist, and to pay attention. Don't dismiss us. Don't send us off someplace else just because it wasn't in your textbook. That's what I would tell them.